Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is responsible for our children and our youth. And our children are our most precious resources. And I certainly, as the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, firmly endorse Child Month and its theme to affirm our children.
Today marks the 4th day of Child Month 2018, and we're fully on board with this special focus on affirming, loving, and protecting our children. I'm Audrey, and like the Minister, we recognize that they are our future, our legacy. They deserve the best care possible. Stick around. Today is about ensuring the overall well-being of our children.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active, eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, May 4. Government will be spending $950 million on business process outsourcing, BPO, and tourism projects this fiscal year. Industry Minister Audley Shaw opened the sectoral debate earlier this week and announced the expenditure through Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO. The bulk, $850 million, is earmarked for the tourism sector, supplementing current investments, which will add 2,100 hotel rooms and generate nearly 8,000 jobs. $100 million is programmed for the BPO sector, which will see the creation of 6,000 more jobs. Minister Shaw says preliminary figures indicate that JAMPRO achieved capital investment of $604 million during the last fiscal year. This resulted in the creation of over 13,200 new jobs for the period. As the agency looks to facilitate even more investment this year, the minister says he is set to formally reopen JAMPRO's office in New York on May 14. He will also use the opportunity to meet with several key investors ahead of the Jamaica Investment Forum, which will again be hosted in Montego Bay in June. The Maypen Hospital in Clarendon is to be redeveloped to manage increased demand on the facility. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says this is needed as the parish has grown significantly since the hospital was last renovated in the 1990s.
Time has passed and the demands on the system has continued to expand, and the infrastructure has not kept apace with that. So we have, the last year, contracted the UNOPS, which is the United Nations construction arm that focuses on healthcare facilities, among other things, to do a 5-hospital study that will examine the needs of the communities where this facility serves, and determine what needs to be done to make it an ideal structure.
The health minister was speaking at a function to hand over medical equipment and supplies to the Maypen Hospital. It was the second tranche of an $80,000 donation of equipment and supplies from Jamalco. The first set of supplies was handed over in October 2016. A series of operations have started in Westmoreland targeting the facilitators of crime in the parish. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson says the police are not only after the gunmen, but also those who funded the masterminds by purchasing guns and transporting them.
Criminal gangs and criminal activities are networks. There's money behind them. There are a lot of the people who are pulling the trigger have no money of their own. They don't have access to weapons. So somebody else is bringing them in, and those are the people we are looking for.
The police commissioner says several government organizations have joined forces to dismantle the gangs. He's advising residents to be alert and cooperate with the security forces. Since the police force has started its operation in the parish, 94 persons have been detained and 13 arrested for various activities. An AK-47 rifle and assorted rounds of ammunition have also been recovered. One of 5 wanted persons named on a list published Wednesday has turned himself in to the authorities. The operation in Westmoreland follows Tuesday's bloody onslaught in the parish, where 7 people, including 2 young boys, were murdered and 8 others wounded in separate gun attacks. The Office of the Contractor General, OCG, is targeting young people as part of measures to address corruption. Contractor General Dirk Harrison says there is a direct link between corruption and crime, and the objective is to steer the youth from making bad choices. He says that last year, the OCG went into all 4 juvenile institutions over a 4-week period to engage the youth. Mr. Harrison was speaking during Wednesday's session of the Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police, ACCP, conference at the Montego Bay Convention Center. The ACCP conference, which wrapped up today, attracted commissioners of police and other stakeholders from 25 countries across the region. Government has invested $10 million in the Institute of Sports in-sports primary school championships slated for next week. 400 pairs of athletic spikes have been given to in-sports for the participating schools, each of which will receive at least 3 pairs. Sport Minister Olivia Grange handed over the footgear during Thursday's launch of the championships.
In our commitment to making Jamaica an international sporting giant, we must literally take care of the baby steps represented by a meet such as the in-sports primary schools track and field athletics championship.
The in-sports primary schools championships will be held from May 9 to 12. The top schools will receive hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment and gears. And finally, the Finance Ministry is inviting public sector employees to apply for tertiary education grants on behalf of their children. The grant, which is to assist with tuition fees only, will cover 80% of the fees not exceeding $150,000 per applicant. To benefit, the public sector employee must be permanently, temporarily, or contractually appointed with at least 2 years' service with the government. Eligible students must have been accepted or are pursuing a local full-time accredited associate or bachelor's degree program at any tertiary institution registered by the University Council of Jamaica. Additionally, the student must be under 25 years old, unemployed, and have a minimum grade point average GPA of 3.0. Application forms can be accessed from the Ministry's website, mof.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
One of the ways that we can show our children we care is by exposing them to new places and cultural experiences that can teach them in a practical way about their heritage. Events like the recent Blue Mountain Coffee Festival provide the perfect opportunity to do this. Many families traveled from far to savor this groundbreaking event. Let me warn you, if you didn't get the chance to be there, this next feature may make you a little jealous. So I guess it's a good thing this was the first and not the only festival.
The Blue Mountain Coffee Festival is celebrating everything coffee.
Not sure if it was the caffeine, but everyone seemed to have been on a high for this festival. It was pure niceness all around.
A coffee festival. Listen, today me rise like the sunrise, my bright and my upright. No one can break my vibe. I'm in a care who want fight, who want criticize. I'm on the higher heights. Tell them, say what you want to, do what you want to. It's no concern to me. And if you feel alright in the party, well, everybody just move with me.
It's good, very good.
Jamaican coffee culture was on display,
As Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett puts it, coffee is a preferred drink and Jamaica's bean is considered the best in the world.
It is part of that wider policy acting out by way of a strategy that is to bring more Jamaicans into a realization of our cultural assets and for us to consume more of our own. And then secondly, to bring the world to us to enjoy and to consume at a price all of these wonderful assets that we have. It's enabling the world to come and to not just to taste the richness and the uniqueness of the Jamaican coffee strain, but it's also to show what can be done with coffee, the numerous applications of economic value that can inure from this experience, and how our artisans and our farmers and our creative people can use this asset to create wealth and to make a better community. So the festival, yes, it is about camaraderie, it's about bringing people together. Yes, it's about culinary delights and imbibing, but it's also about a greater economic good, which will see to the enrichment of our Jamaican people.
The Jamaica Defence Force Newcastle training base provided the location for the foreplay with coffee. There was no conflict in sight, but rather an interest by the young and mature to indulge in the bean at the country's highest peak. With the mist hovering, patrons sampled and tested all there was to offer.
The beer vanilla nutmeg, it is awesome. Well, first of all, my hand feels smooth and soft and sexy, so it's really lovely.
We have a coffee cake for 300.
Dozens of local brands showcased the best of coffee byproducts and how the bean may be stretched to gain needed foreign exchange.
Our coffee rum cake here, so what you get is a nice decadent cake. It's, trust me, wonderful.
What we are doing today is a very old school style brewing method called pour over coffee. That's basically we are doing everything from scratch. Grind here and then brew here and then serve fresh.
I have to thank the Ministry of Tourism for that particular insight in understanding that for the coffee farmers to do well, we have to move from just thinking about coffee as a drink. I love it when they make it in those nice iced drinks as well. I love coffee cake. I love coffee sweetie. Lord, you don't understand. All those liquor brittles with the coffee and the peanut or the cashew. Coffee to the world.
The inaugural staging of the Blue Mountain Coffee Festival has set the stage for what is expected to be an even greater event in the future.
I've been waiting for something like this. We're going to market it internationally. We're going to get into the magazines and into the digital marketing avenues. So we're going to utilize all the media to showcase the images of Jamaica through this festival. And it is going to be a huge marketing point for us.
I am having the cappuccino spiked with a little Bailey's rum cream. Yeah, it's a good experience and it has potential for growth. And it has also potential for tourism growth as well.
I'm from St. Mary, and it's wonderful. And it's very nice to see that we've got such beauty in Jamaica. And most of the time, we Jamaicans, we don't know about these places. I've tried the coffee liqueur, and it's wonderful. So I'm going to get a bottle to take back with me.
Amazing. It's absolutely, I've never been to the Blue Mountains before or anywhere up this high, and it's gorgeous. Surprised at how many people are here and how much is here on offer. It's wonderful. It's fabulous. We've had a great time.
Coffee ice cream, great. Absolutely fantastic. It has this creamy, velvety taste, and it was made right in front of me, right there, by Candy's Delight. To try, definitely. It is something to behold. Real coffee is blending there. It's my first time here and absolutely loving it. I love the different products and everything.
Well, next year everybody come on out.
One of the tenets of this year's Child Month theme, Affirm Me, calls on Jamaicans to influence children in a positive way. Listen, children are more powerful than we think. If we give them the right information along with opportunities and resources, they can change the world for the better. Like government, one of our corporate giants recognizes this. As you'll see next, they're rallying the little ones to tackle a serious waste issue.
We call ourselves the Earth Guardians.
And they have a mission to fulfill.
We have to be protectors of the earth.
The philanthropic team of Sandals Foundation's Earth Guardians took the mission of reducing single-use plastics to 12 Caribbean schools on May 23. It was Earth Day. The theme, the aspiration, was to end plastic pollution. Caenwood Primary in Montego Bay was among the 6 Jamaican schools visited by Sandals Earth Guardians. 2 years ago, the NSWMA started a pilot plastic bottle recycling project. Earlier this year, the Prime Minister told Parliament and the country that government was supporting a private sector-led plastic bottle return system. And now, from one of the island's prominent private sector members.
As environmental stewards within the tourism industry, we feel it is a need and it is very imperative for us to visit the schools here in Montego Bay as we create much impact and to share the knowledge on how it is important to sustain our environment.
The Earth Guardians from Sandals Royal Caribbean and Sandals Montego Bay handed out reusable bags and water bottles to students and teachers of Caenwood Primary.
We distributed over 450 plastic bottles to the students, and I'm sure it will go a far way, and this is a first step in making a difference as we ensure that our students continue to use this plastic bottle rather than the disposable plastic containers that they have.
These students received much more than that. They also got information on the harmful effects of plastic pollution.
Look inside, you'll see lighters, you'll see corks, and you see plastic bits and all these things which are not biodegradable, meaning that it does not break down. So because it doesn't break down, it just stays and stays for hundreds of years, it stays for long, and this is just one of the many effects of pollution.
And they even receive tips on how they can put plastics to good use.
And there's the last picture that we have on the screen, water sprinkler. So if you can afford to buy the one that to hold on the top so that it doesn't use the water when you're there, it's not in use, you can put a little bottle on the nozzle, bore some holes in it, and definitely there is your sprinkler.
We sought to educate our young minds because they are the future leaders.
To the children that are listening, we are the ones that can stop the pollution and better our environment as we try to decrease the dangers and everything that the plastic pollution causes to us, because it is very, very dangerous and we need to take caution.
We must start somewhere because it really has gotten out of hand, and we appreciate this move that you have made and you coming here this morning to help to strengthen what we have been saying to the children, teachers and the parents.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Every child deserves a special place in our hearts, but we all know that those with special needs deserve an extra special kind of love. The support system they receive determines how these children see themselves. In other words, if you love your child, no matter the circumstances, the child will inevitably learn to love him or herself. Watch now as one mother does all she can to show unconditional love and support to her son with special needs.
Meet Alex Fraser. He's a 10-year-old student of Dunrobin Primary School in Kingston. He's just like most other boys his age. He loves to play football, hang out with his friends, and play computer games. The only major difference, he cannot walk like most other boys his age. Alex was born with spina bifida, a condition where a baby's neural tube fails to develop normally, causing damage to the spinal cord and bones of the spine. Alex's mother, Tamara Brown, has 3 other children, all of whom have no birth defects. But from Alex's birth, Tamara was determined that he would be given the same opportunities.
I want Alex to have a good education. No matter if anything happened to me tomorrow, I want him to have a good education. Can't complain, the children, the teachers, love him a lot.
It's fun having Alex around, even though sometimes it's like he's not even there. He's so quiet, he's so obedient, and he gets along well with his peers.
Parenting a child with disabilities like Alex's takes extra special loving care.
I have to make sure, go to school, eat, because Alex is a very sick child. Alex has high blood pressure, he has a kidney problem, so I have to take antibiotic every day, I have to take mineral oil every day.
It means Tamara has to be at school with Alex for the entire school day on many occasions, as there are times when he doesn't have an assigned special needs assistant.
We're always here for Alex's mom and for Alex. She has been a strong parent though, doesn't complain a lot, but we have been there in support, maybe for lunch or any advice that she would need. So she has been a great parent. Alex's mother, she never gives up. She really wants the best for her child, and she should be commended for actually fighting to get the best in life for Alex. And we're happy he's a part of us.
I would like to work with computer when I grow up.
Antonika Gunter-Gale, Director of the Early Stimulation Program in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, works closely with parents of children like Alex, especially in the early stages.
Parents, guardians, caregivers of children with disabilities face a number of issues. Financial, is one of them. When you take, for instance, sometimes a child with special needs go beyond the years of using diapers, they have to take soft food. So that means, the blending, the buying of certain food items, So there are a number of challenges. Medication, you think about appointments. The child needs to go to the hearing, specialist. The child needs to go to the audiology. The child needs to go to various appointments, and it does take cash, to care on the part of the parent for persons who don't understand that this is a child with special needs, and the child, act up in the public, screaming, shouting, hyperactive, a child with autism, very antisocial, not getting on like his peers. These things can really cause much stress to the parents of children with disabilities.
But you might ask, How can a regular parent afford all these expenses? And are there any existing support programs for parents of children with disabilities?
There are a number of support through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, under which this program falls, the Early Stimulation Program. A mother, guardian, who really cannot find the wherewithal to care, you have support in terms of intervention. You have financial assistance in terms of a rehabilitation grant that is offered through the ministry for parents or guardians of children with special needs. You have the Jamaica Council for persons with disabilities that also offer support and financial assistance for, starting up your own business, advice, and, that sort of a thing. So there are a number of areas. We have the PAT program that assists with adaptive aids, such as hearing aids, walkers, wheelchairs, medication.
For parents who, like Tamara Brown, are unable to maintain regular jobs as a result of having to be with their disabled children at home or school, the Early Stimulation Program guides them to numerous entrepreneurship opportunities. We have parents, for example, a simple thing as making soaps, different soaps, putting together, soaps that is tested and passed, approved through the Bureau of Standards, selling soaps. So we have mothers doing phone cards. We have parents doing their little craft at home, rearing chickens at home, doing eggs, So there are a number of areas while taking care of the child at home, the parent could do. For more information, you may contact the Early Stimulation Program at 95 Hanover Street, Kingston. Call them at 922-5585. Children with special needs need extra special parents.
We have come to the end of today's magazine, but another informative show comes your way tomorrow. In the meantime, feel free to share your feedback and comments by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News or visit our website at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Remember, it's never too late to affirm a child.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.